was probably the high point of the night on that first. It put a spotlight on two guys that aren't exactly household names right now, but it showed what they can do and their contrasting styles. That was a really awesome match to watch.
Yeah, it was, with everything like he was doing with Bobby Lashley being on the microphone. I think everyone was forgetting how good Lio Rush actually is in the ring.
Oh, of course.
I want to just mention we had a little hiccup in our Wi-Fi connection, so the initial feed stopped. We had to put another quarter in the slot, and so we are back up now with the new feed. So that's what happened for a couple of seconds. So we should be back up live. So anyway, I just want to let everybody know it's not you, it was the Wi-Fi.
Damn,
sorry. Go.
Right,
yeah, right, exactly.
So that's pretty much like what I wanted to touch on NXT.
Okay.
If you don't know NXT, you should know NXT. Keep watching it.
It's on right now on the USA Network. Watch this and then
Yeah,
DVR
make sure you
it.
finish us first.
DVR it and watch it, but watch us first.
Thomas, we had a little Wi-Fi bump in the road, so thank you for sticking with us, but we are back up. We appreciate it. Okay, so let's go into some indie stuff. Let's talk about, you were mentioning, so this is national indies. We're going to get to the local indies with FSW and stuff coming up here next, but guys, what do you have on the bigger, the more nationally known, like ROH, New Japan, et cetera? Anything on the scut list there? If not, we can go right into Impact and AEW if we don't have anything on the national indie scene.
Honestly, like it's been pretty slow news week for the local indie scene. As Matt and I mentioned earlier, Ring of Honor is doing Death Before Dishonor here in Las Vegas.
And when is that?
It's Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
They're doing the pay-per-view on Friday and the TV taping on Saturday.
Right on. Okay.
And I believe that's at Sam's Town, right?
Yeah, it's at Sam's Town.
Yeah.
Do we know any of the matches for that night? Or who's appearing at least?
Matt Taven will be there.
Taven defending his title against Roosh.
Who?
Oh, Roosh. That should be really exciting.
Roosh.
I know Pete Wilbur Club is a really big Roosh fan, so.
Is that like the swoosh?
No, it's Roosh.
Roosh. Okay.
It's like Rush, but he's from Mexico, so he's Roosh.
Ah, gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Makes sense. Why not?
He's undefeated in Ring of Honor, so
Okay. Well, that's
Matt
important.
Taven's title reign might be in a little bit of trouble.
I
Might be
kind of hope so.
jeopardy.
Matt Taven's a terrible champ.
All
I
right.
still can't understand how Marty Scurll hasn't been Ring of Honor champion at some point.
I think it's because everybody knows once his contract's up, he's gone. He's going to go be the elite again.
True that.
All right. So since we don't have much going on in the national indie scene to report, why don't we keep moving into then Impact and some AEW news before we come into the local indie scene? So what's going on with Impact and AEW? Anything on the highlights there?
Well, as we know, AEW Dynamite is premiering this coming Wednesday, a week from tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm really looking forward to it.
Is it a 1 or 2 hour show? It's a 2 hour show,
2-hour
isn't it?
show.
And it's on Access.
No,
Right?
no,
They're on
that's-
TNT.
no, they're on TNT.
Oh, that's right. TNT. I'm
What's the
sorry.
name? Dynamite, TNT.
Oh,
See
yeah,
what they
there
did-
you
see
go.
what they
Yeah,
did
no,
there?
yeah. I totally missed it. It's Impact that went to Access. That's why I was
Yeah,
thinking.
Impact went to
Right.
Access.
Yeah. Okay.
They premiere October 1st.
So yeah, October is going to be a big month for wrestling on TV. That's
Just
for
this
sure.
first week of October.
Absolutely. All right. So do we know any matches that are going to be debuting for AEW? Do we know what's going on with their card? Has much been announced?
Well, we are getting. Are we getting Pac versus Hangman again?
Yep.
Yep. That's like was originally scheduled for Double or Nothing. Pac pulled out due to creative control issues. Concerning his character. It's still a match we've wanted to see, and I feel like what we got in England a few months back was just. It's not the match everybody wanted to see. Not a lot of people saw it unless you're a big indie, wrestling follower. But they did hype this match up earlier this year at the press conference, and we finally get to see it on an AEW program. So I'm really happy about that. And then we also have Nyla Rose versus Riho to crown the first AEW Women's Champion. That's going to be happening at the premiere. And
Isn't somebody's? Or no, I'm sorry. Rock is going over to the MMA. I was just thinking he's going to be handing the belt at an MMA card to a champion in a couple of weeks. Or is it this week or next week? I don't even know.
Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal.
Yeah,
And when is-
I don't think Rock would ever show up in AEW.
No. Well, yeah. I mean, So he's going to be. When is that
Chris
card?
Jericho might have. Oh, sorry.
No,
That's
that's
in November.
November.
At Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
Who is the champion? Have they announced him?
I think it kind of spoiled part of the premiere
What-
during his podcast because it's Jericho and 2 mystery partners against the Young Bucks and Omega. But if you listen to his podcast, he said he was filming stuff after the pay-per-view with LAX.
Okay.
I
So,
kind of predicted
I'm kind
it would
of
be.
guessing that's the two he's partnering with.
I predicted it would be LAX after All Out when they made their debut.
I'm guessing it's Jericho and LAX or whatever they're going by now against the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega.
It should still be a good match.
Should be a good match.
Okay. What else? Who's listen? I want to go to the. We're talking about Impact, but we all know Impact is struggling right now, of course. So on the AEW side, I want to ask this question. There are a lot of known names that are now part of AEW.
Yeah.
Can you guys give me somebody who's signed talent to AEW that perhaps mainstream people are not as familiar with as a Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes, or Cody, sorry, that they should keep an eye on? That will come up and kind of surprise everybody and go, yeah, he was pretty good.
MJF.
Okay.
You stole my damn wrestler.
Oh my gosh. Now we're fighting over MJF.
Then.
Hey,
That
Darby's
guy's
good.
crazy.
Yeah, but no, I think MJF has the makings of a real star. Like,
A couple years, he's going to be a huge deal. He thinks he already is, but he's going to be a huge deal.
he lives that gimmick.
Oh, I know. I've met him before. I can't even say on this podcast what he told me.
Uh-oh. Well, theoretically it could. We're not controlled by the FCC, but
True.
It still pushes the boundaries of taste, Aaron.
oh, okay. Well, I have no taste. People know I at times have no taste, so I'm not worried about that. So
No,
okay, good.
MJF, I've seen him pull some crazy stuff on social media that just make you want to hate this guy. So
Well,
I
he
don't think
did.
anything will ever like Tommaso Ciampa giving away the ending of Avengers the day after it was released. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my whole life on social media.
Thomas Burnett threw out there a couple of things: Jay Lethal versus Jonathan Gresham, and we should not skip over Jushin Thunder Liger unmasking.
that's Jushin Thunder Liger.
Well, I'm from Jersey. What do I know about accents and speaking? It's my East Coast accent.
I actually missed a lot of my New Japan watching this week just because I'm not gonna lie, I've been playing a lot of Borderlands 3.
Okay,
The game is addictive.
that's why I don't play video games. Anyway, so your thoughts on those 2 points?
Well, I mean, okay,
But
Thomas.
let's talk about the Jay Lethal match.
Okay,
Jonathan Gresham.
I did not watch it. So,
Okay, Thomas.
Not
If you,
till Friday, buddy.
Thomas, if you have some, yeah, I was gonna say. Then if,
see,
It's at the pay-per-view.
there you go, Thomas. Give us your thoughts on that match, just so we have it on record. If you want to make a prognostication.
I wonder how much like Japanese media is going to be at Ring of Honor with Jushin Thunder Liger like unmasking, because that's a huge deal.
it is a huge deal. So, I mean, like, is that his way of retiring?
I'm guessing so.
is he
'cause
He had that
he
white.
wants to
He
take your
took off the mask. He had
off.
that white paint right on his face. Is that the guy we're talking about?
No, Liger's the guy with like the horns.
He took that mask off.
Yeah.
He took whatever that mask was with the horns, and he had that white paint on his
Yeah.
face.
Yeah,
Right. Okay. I'm gotcha.
yeah, that was the right one.
I'll talk slower. You listen faster. Who? Oh. Rick Knox is coming in. He's a ref?
Referee Rick Knox. Yeah.
Oh, okay. See, I get news from all sides on this show, which is good. Which is good. Okay. How do you pronounce his last name? Liger?
Liger.
Okay. Thomas shares with us that Liger is feuding with Minoru Suzuki.
Suzuki, he's one of
Thank
my
you,
personal,
Thomas.
He's one of my personal favorites in New Japan.
Is
I hope
Thomas,
he
here,
shows up to Vegas.
is Thomas here in Vegas? Does anybody know who this Thomas individual is? Is he here in Vegas?
I just want to sing. I just want to see Kaze Ninare live.
I met Suzuki in person once. That guy's intimidating in real life.
That guy is straight up intense.
Well, most guys have to be, don't they? When they come, I mean, most roots there. These guys are intense from the
thing
Asian
is-
market, right?
The thing is, Suzuki's he's an older guy. He's been wrestling. He's in his 50s now,
Okay.
and Suzuki's been.
You say that like it's old.
No.
hell?
I'm saying for a wrestler, it is old.
I got to keep our
For-
producer over here
Okay,
back.
for an active wrestler.
Oh, okay. Let's clarify that.
Okay, for an active wrestler, that is old. But I tell you what, if just evidenced by the match he had with Okada a few weeks ago at Royal Quest, he's an older guy, but he can really, really still go the distance in the ring. Suzuki's former MMA fighter, but man, the guy is he's just brutal, and his character is just awesome. He's like the old evil bastard of New Japan. Like he is the gatekeeper. If you can have a good match with Minoru Suzuki, like you've made it, because that guy has been around forever. You know, he predates Tanahashi even.
All right, I want to, as long as we're talking about the indie stuff, let's segue into the local stuff, because I know FSW has a big card coming up with Mecca.
Oh yeah.
So why don't you guys talk about that as you get ready? I just want to mention, listen, Thomas, you've been greatly involved in tonight's show, giving us great information. And I hope Scott doesn't get mad at me, but I'm going to take the liberty of putting his name on one of these, even though he's been here in spirit, being very active.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you see him. Do you see this gentleman? I'm going to give it to somebody who's going to get that to you, Thomas, as a thank you.
Chief.
Carissa Hughes says, "What's up, Johnny?"
Hey, what's up?
Okay. I don't know why they're not showing up on my laptop, but I have me on the phone.
The Glamazon herself.
All right.
Not Beth Phoenix, but
The Glamazon.
yes, one of my karaoke buddies.
Okay, there you go. So, Thomas, thank you very much for participating very much in tonight's show. So you've got an envelope on the way. You're welcome. Keep tuned in. Maybe one of these nights come down and see the show live. So, okay. So let's talk about that. So Mecca 5, let's get into the card. Let's see what's happening for that. When is that happening? When is Mecca 5?
Sunday.
Sunday. And that's down at?
Samstown.
Time? No, not the time right now.
7.
The 7? Check your local listings.
I was like, I'm gonna be there a lot.
Check Future Stars of Wrestling on Facebook and find out for sure.
Why don't you reshare the invite on our page?
Yeah, I'll probably be getting there at like 4 in the afternoon. So
I'll probably be there around 2 to help Scott set up. He'll have a booth outside of Mecca selling
5
wrestling
p.m.
merchandise.
Thank you, Thomas.
Come
He says
check us out.
he says 5 p.m. for Mecca.
Gotcha. So we'll probably be there like 1 or 2.
Yeah, I'll probably be there around 1 or 2 setting up.
Okay, there you go. So Thomas, thank you again for. He's like a producer tonight. This guy Thomas. I hope to meet
Thank
him
you,
in person.
Thomas.
Oh, happy birthday! So
Hey!
there you go. That's your birthday present. That envelope coming to you. Sammy, what did you get in your envelope? Who did you get signed there? Who did you have there? Let me see who we got. All right, so
Juventud.
so we got here's what Sammy he's got in there. He's got Juventud Guerrero signed. Oh, wait a minute. There's a few in here. Hold on. There's a few in here. Not just Juventud. We wouldn't just give you one for sure.
Juventud Guerrera is The Rock's favorite wrestler.
wow.
The Iron
Sheik.
Oh,
Sheik.
Sheiky baby.
The Iron
That's
Sheik is
cool.
in it from 2001, no less. And then Disco
Disco
Inferno.
Inferno.
Who do we have here?
Hey, Disco sucks.
We have a card. Chris Masters signed playing card.
The masterpiece.
That's cool. Remember when he used to do the master locks in the ring, the challenges? So we have
that's
Disco Inferno. Who's that guy?
Wow.
You want to make
That was
it?
worth coming down here just for a Nick Bockwinkel.
Nick
autograph.
Bockwinkel, and of course, the Weasel as his manager, Bobby Heenan, and a Las Vegas favorite that we all
Hall
love.
of Famer.
Hall of Famer, the Godfather,
Train.
the Home Train. So great job, man. You got a great.
That's one hell of an envelope.
That's right.
That's a really good
Yeah.
envelope.
So what do we have in here? About 5 of them, 4 or 5 of them, plus the trading card.
I got Marty Jannetty in mine.
I got
All
some.
can't be winners.
I got one in mind. The guy's name. He was a wrestler out of Philadelphia. Some guy named Johnny Rock.
Oh yeah, hey.
I had to hold it up. I use it to hold my door open. Johnny Crunch. I don't know. There you go. But good job.
That
You
was
got
my
some great
younger
ones in
days when
there.
I was known as Johnny Pebble.
Johnny Pebble.
When I was a wee pebble.
Boy, there's so many thoughts I could throw into that one right about now. So, all right, let's go over Mecca. Let's go over the matches.
We
What you
got, got some indie star power coming to this one, Matt.
About Pentagon and versus Matt Seidel. That is going to be epic.
Of course, Matt Seidel, known to most people as Evan Bourne from WWE. Now going on the Indies as Matt Seidel, will be facing one half of the Lucha Bros. Interesting to not see them in tag team action. Both are on the card, but they're working singles matches.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that. But the matches they're in are going to be, on paper, they look amazing. But I'm sure even in the ring with who they're facing, it's going to be one hell of a show.
Oh, FSW does. If you've never been to an FSW show here in Las Vegas, they always seem to bring the house down for these mecha shows. They're really, really good.
Then we got the FSW champion, Chris Bay, against Douglas James and Ray Phoenix.
Wow, triple threat, eh?
That's one hell of a triple threat.
That is. I kind of thought after what we saw at the 10th anniversary show, we'd see a rematch between TJP and Douglas James.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised by that.
Now, is TJP still going to be at the show? Because
Yeah, he's advertised to
He was
be
originally
there.
announced, but I think they pulled him back. I don't think he's on the poster anymore. So, Impact.
Gotcha. About Mike Elgin versus Hammerstone.
Your boy Hammer.
I saw a video of Hammerstone from MLW a couple of months ago, and he was going up Hart. What's his first name? Why am I blanking? Teddy Hart.
Teddy Hart.
Let me tell you something. This guy Hammerstone, he has got it. He's got the body. He's got the strength. He's got the persona down. He's got the mic skills. This guy's absolutely tremendous.
You know, Hammerstone's definitely going places. He's like you said, he's got the it factor. Hammer's actually just been in Japan for a few months now. I think he just got home from Japan.
This is his first show in the United States since he's been in Japan.
But everything, because I follow him on Twitter, and everything he's been posting from those Japanese shows, he's been learning a lot. So I think we're going to see a whole new side of Hammerstone, because you know, when you come back from Japan, you come back a changed man. There's just a different mentality and a different, like, a lot of guys come back focused.
Mm-hmm.
A focused Hammerstone, that's a scary.
That's scary.
Hammerstone.
Yeah.
I would like to see in the future Hammerstone against Killer. Wouldn't that be a great match?
That would be a hell of a match.
Right? Killer Cross, Hammerstone.
I'd love to see that.
That would blow the roof. That would blow the roof off. Anyway, just throwing that out there. Okay, what's next? What card? What's the next match on the card?
Well, we got Simon Gotch, another WWE alumni, taking on Joe Graves. So
That's going to be a good one.
That should be a pretty hard-hitting.
I read online Simon is not doing well physically with the time he's been spending on the road since leaving the WWE. His body has just not been able to give it a chance to recoup. He's been dealing with separated shoulders and breaks and this and that. He's not in good. I'd be interested to see what he's going to look like at Mecca.
That's the thing about being an indie wrestler. You can stop taking bookings. I think it's not like he's on that regular road schedule that the WWE made him do. I honestly think if the guy's hurting, he should just take a break.
Hey, you make your own schedule doing indies, so take a break and heal yourself up. So I know when I was talking to Cody Rhodes, like after he left WWE, and he went from a show to Vegas to New York to Toronto and somewhere else, like within 3 days. I was like, well, he obviously didn't leave because of the schedule. He goes, yeah, I kind of messed up this week.
Our judge of the Kangaroo Court
man.
has to find himself now because that's his phone going off. Either that or is that the card that's going off? Is that your phone? See, our own judge is being fined. All right, that means you got to give back the picture. No, just kidding. By the way, we have
He might be impeached.
Impeached.
The word of the day. Carissa says Nick and Taya, am I saying that right? T-A-Y-A or Taya?
Taya Valkyrie.
Are her favorites from FSW.
Yes. Taya Valkyrie's actually going to be on that show, I believe.
She's facing Lacey Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
For the FSW Women's Championship.
Yes.
The Women's Championship. Speaking of which, we have the WWF Women's Raw title right in front of us. Now available for your purchase for $300, signed by Alexa Bliss, right here at Power Play Sports and Collectibles. How's that, Scott? Did I get that in okay?
You going for that cheap pop?
Hey, if it's going to keep us in the store, absolutely.
Right here at Power Play Sports in Las Vegas, Nevada. Have a nice day.
That was perfectly timed, Mr. Johnny. Well done. I got goosebumps over that little routine. Hi, Thomas Glenn. Thank you for chiming in. We appreciate it. Right here at Power Play Sports. I love it.
He's right next to you.
Right here.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, we have too much fun here.
That's right. We do. Hi, Thomas. Okay. So what else? Anything else on Mecca we need to be aware of?
It's just, you know, if you know who a lot of these names are, you know that all these names can come and they deliver really good shows. They may not be household names, but these are the future stars of wrestling. It's not just the name.
It's not just a name. It's a thing.
It's a thing. And, you know, we got guys that have been in WWE. We got guys from Impact. We got guys from Ring of Honor, you know, all coming together here in Las Vegas to put on a great show for you. FSW does really good bookings. They put on really entertaining matches. The last event I was at for them was 10th anniversary, which blew the roof off of Samstown. So I highly encourage you, if you want to see a really good local wrestling show and you're here in Las Vegas, go catch FSW Mecca 5 because it should be a really good show.
I'm glad you're mentioning this because I want to go back to an interview that the two of you with our friend Cameron was on with me and Neil Port and I on my other podcast, Twin Brothers, which airs, by the way, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. right here on Facebook Live. This Saturday, though, we'll be at Marsigliano's Pizzeria. If you guys want some free food, come down between 12 and 1, 8125 West Sahara. They just opened, and we are squarely behind them because their food is good.
Anyway,
Anyway.
twist my arm very.
I know,
hard.
right?
That
Wait,
one.
you had me at pizza.
I know, right?
You had me-
Really good
Pizza,
stuff.
I'm
You had me
there.
at free pizza. It could literally be tomato sauce and cheese slathered on a piece of cardboard.
But let me tell you something. This is much better than tomato sauce and cheese on a piece of cardboard. Much better. This is great food there. Anyway, it's a grand opening celebration. But besides that, we talked about on the show when you guys came on about the power of wrestling, because Neil, not a huge wrestling fan, but he was unaware of the depth of how wrestling is entertainment in Las Vegas. And it's part of our entertainment landscape. Would you guys not agree?
Oh, I agree.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so, from a general scope, not only do we have the WWE folks coming into town in a couple of weeks, but we have FSW, we have BVW, we have ROH coming here with all these great promotions. And with that new bill signed in California about how independent contractors are now to be treated, we may see an influx of even more performers and wrestlers coming to Vegas. So, people need to understand that people can come here as part of their entertainment value and see wrestling on a great level, even if it's not WWE. We have great shows here in town.
Oh yeah, we're more
definitely.
than just showgirls and gambling. So I mean, there's always something fun to do here in town.
And you know what? I think you said it, Johnny, last week, or maybe Matt, you did now with the Allegiant Stadium, the home of the Raiders next year. We're hoping, we were talking about the possibility of a WrestleMania maybe appearing here sometime in the near future. That'd be great.
I think it's a foregone conclusion that we will have WrestleMania.
I like the idea of it being a rounded number like WrestleMania 40.
I think WrestleMania 40 is going to be here in Vegas. That's just me calling my
Yeah,
shot like the babe.
absolutely.
I'm just reaching out and
Pointing it out there.
I'm having
pointing
a
out
blank. What is the next WrestleMania number?
36, isn't it?
36.
Yeah,
right?
36.
36.
We're gonna have it by 38, honestly.
You think so?
Well,
I
I
think
mean,
it'll go from like it's either we get it next year, or LA gets it with their new stadium, or it's gonna go like LA
I don't
or
think we'll
Vegas.
get it.
or
I don't
Vegas
think we'll
and
get it
LA.
I
next
just
year.
remember when Levi Stadium opened up, they had it within the year. So it was like the first year that Levi Stadium was open.
So the only bad thing is that the Ram Stadium opens up like almost the same time ours does, and theirs is a little bigger. So I'm guessing they're gonna get the first one,
And they got two
and then we
football
get the
teams
next
in there.
one.
Not only that, like right
The
now,
Chargers are playing there too.
Yeah.
well, not only that, like we kind of have the stigma of being an AEW town right now because they had Double or Nothing here, and Cody and the Bucks have been very vocal about how well that was received here in Vegas, and I was there, so it was a big hit.
Well,
was
it did sell out in a half an hour, and there's still plenty of tickets for SmackDown.
I think you know how you have those cities that are cornerstones of an industry, like you have like Atlanta was always the hub of WCW.
Mm-hmm.
New York City and Connecticut are the hubs of WWE.
Mhm.
I could see Las Vegas and Jacksonville being the hubs of AEW. There's a lot of AEW fans here in town. And like I said, Double or Nothing was such a good experience for the city as a whole and for wrestling fans coming to the city. I could see AEW having a lot of events here, at least one major event here a year.
I could see us being like a pay-per-view town for them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great point. By the way, Thomas shared with us that the Mecca 5 card is also going to be airing live on Fight TV.
It's FSW's first pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully Fight ironed out their problems because I remember their stream of All Out was riddled and rife with technical
of,
issues. And,
Really and rife with strife.
I wonder what that's gonna do because like AEW does stuff on there, Ring of Honor, Impact, all the other ones.
I don't think Fight's exclusive.
WWE's like in talks of buying them.
They're in talks of buying Fight TV?
Yeah.
They're
Really? I
in talks
didn't
of
know
buying
that.
Fight TV because they know that it's the major outlet source for the competition.
Wow.
You know what would happen if WWE buys Fight TV? All these companies are going to gang up and join up to start a streaming service just to compete with them.
Oh
Wow.
yeah.
So I mean, it's not going to it'll put a speed bump in the road of progress, but it's not going to kill progress.
True.
And especially with AEW being broadcast nationally on cable. Now I did find out that foreigners like anywhere around the world who want to watch AEW Dynamite are going to have to purchase it through streaming services, which I don't think to this point have not been announced. But TNT is only an American network, and unfortunately for wrestling fans around the world, they're not going to have
A platform to catch it.
a global platform like
Right.
WWE has. So that is something AEW is definitely going to have to catch up on, especially because wrestling is a worldwide industry.
Right.
We found out just in the last couple of years, the British community loves wrestling. Mexico, Japan, even making footholds into the Middle East, India.
Well, look-
Australia's got a huge wrestling.
Absolutely. I mean, look how much time the WWE themselves spends overseas, and when they go overseas, they're just not there for one show. They're
No.
there for weeks and weeks.
They're building brands and they're actually acquiring talent. If you
Right.
notice, like
India is an area that they're trying to target as well.
even the Middle
absolutely.
East, I mean, Mansoor is getting a lot of TV time in NXT, and I think that now that NXT is a weekly thing on nationally broadcast television, we're going to see a lot more of Mansoor, the Saudi Arabian wrestler.
All right, we have about 3 minutes left, gentlemen. So we are now down to our final thoughts count anywhere. We each have about a minute left to share a thought on any topic going out, with the exception of wrestling. So let's throw something out there for the last minute. Thoughts count anywhere, any topic, anything going on out there for about a minute. Johnny, why don't you go first? We'll come across the table.
Like I said, my whole non-wrestling life this entire week was just Borderlands. Playing. If you're a video game fan and you like ridiculous action-based role-playing games, check out Borderlands 3. It's a really good sequel. It's been dominating my life.
Okay, Borderlands.
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 So,
Borderline.
quick
Borderlands.
plug for
Right on. Matt, your thought counts anywhere.
I always like this week. Like, my birthday was on Saturday, but I always like this week just because of all the new shows that are starting back up.
Yeah.
I'm actually like looking forward when I get home to watching Stumptown with Colby Smulders.
Oh, I
I
set
wanna
my
see
DVR
that.
for that
yeah,
one
me
today.
too. I
She's
can't
like
wait
an
for
FBI
that to come
agent in
on.
that one, right?
Yeah.
I got more. My DVR right now is about to re-tilt from the first couple of days this
Oh,
week
I
with all the
know.
new shows coming on.
I just wanted to kick open.
I'm
Joy
so
Sand.
sad. Like, this last season of Arrow is about to be on in a couple weeks.
And it's only 10 episodes.
Yeah, I know.
But we still get full seasons of like The Flash. And
Yeah.
Flash is my favorite. So
I'm
Scott
just looking forward to this week because all the new shows.
Scott puts out there that his thoughts count anywhere is that he's going to Popeyes.
So
Yes.
was that chicken sandwich?
Didn't we talk about that a few weeks ago? All right.
quick point. Since you brought up Arrow,
Mhm.
I know I don't know if you heard about this. There was backlash that when they did, I think it was the Hugo Awards or the Saturn Awards, basically like the Sci-Fi Awards. They named Supergirl the best superhero show on TV, and there was a lot of backlash for it.
That's a good show, but there's
See-
a lot better superhero shows out there.
But I think in terms of what it did, like, on the social justice platform this year, especially this past season, I think they made a lot of progressive choices in the show, and I don't understand why it's getting so much hate. I thought
They introduced a transgender
they did.
superhero last year. So that was
Transgendered superhero
right, Dream.
Dream, who's actually played by a transgendered
Correct.
performer. So
Right.
I think that's extremely progressive. I think it's the first show other than Orange is the New Black and also what is it, Sense8, that has actually had a transgender in a major role. So and I like, but of those shows, Supergirl's the only one that's on like a major television network and not pay cable. So
Flash is way better than Supergirl.
All right, Judge. He got 2 thoughts count anywheres tonight. That means he gets none next week. He used his credit for next week and used 2 tonight, so he's off. All right. No, I'm only kidding. All right.
I took Scott's turn.
We can plug our show as much as we want.
Well, we can plug our show. Yeah, that's absolutely. Thoughts count anywhere, right here, every Wednesday night for now. Okay, so here's my thought. I was going to talk about the new ESPN commercial that featured Becky Lynch in a non-wrestling capacity. So I thought that kind of, but if you didn't catch it, it's great on ESPN. So here's what I want to share. Last week I saw a video, and I know I reshared it on my wall. 2 people were at UNLV trying to vie for a spot, one spot in the parking lot from opposite directions. Now, what usually happens in that scenario? The cars creep up, they're going to fight. It's like a game of chicken, all that stuff.
No,
Here's what happened.
assert yourself and just whip right in.
That's right. Well, you could. One had a truck and one was not, so the truck might have won. Both drivers stuck their hands out. I'll do it this way because you can't see my hand over here. It looks like I'm punching nothing. You know what they did out the window? Rock, paper, scissors to decide who was going to get the spot.
That is awesome.
That
I didn't hear
actually-
about that until right
It's
now.
on my wall. You can check it out. The video cut off. It didn't exactly show who got the spot, but you can see them out there. Rock, paper, scissors. Both drivers out the window. If every dispute can be settled with rock, paper, scissors, wouldn't this be a much happier world? Right? Rock, paper, scissors. Think about that the next time you get into an argument with somebody. All right. With that, gentlemen, it is time to say adios and bring a close to today's episode number 4. First of all, let's thank everybody in the chat room.
Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank
What's
you for
that?
being.
It's number 5.
Number 5?
Yeah.
I better edit the introduction then. I thought it was 4. All right, 5. I'll take your word for it since you're doing it. So whatever it is, but this episode, thank you for watching. Please continue to reshare us. We're going to be sharing the links where you can catch the podcast. Please continue to reshare them direct on your wall. Like our page, send the message out, get others to like our page. For those of you here in the store, we thank you guys for coming down. We appreciate it. For everybody out there, we appreciate it. Johnny, thank you, sir. As always, good stuff. Matt, thank you. And to all of you watching out there, have a great week. From everybody here at Thoughts Count Anywhere and Power Play Sports. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week right here on Facebook.
Shock the system.